If you've always been told that you have to have a clear direction or a clear strategy before you do anything or before you take action, then I'm excited to share my best thing from this week in that you can do the exact opposite and actually embrace uncertainty to find the right path for you and actually reach your true potential and the future that really best fits you. So one of the best things that I read this week was a new book called Risk Forward by Victoria Labalme. Which really got into a key thing for me, which was anytime you're in a period of transition or your path or your plan or your project isn't quite clear, that usually gets people stuck in fear, in paralysis, and they can't move forward. But Victoria really talked about how that's really a great breeding ground for your best path forward, how you can really embrace that uncertainty, play around with it, research, take some imperfect action, and in going through that period, on the other side is the future or the result that you're looking for. It just might not be absolutely clear in that moment, but as you go through that, as you kind of lean into it a little bit more and don't try and just escape it or bounce around to the more certain thing, you can find the magic and the brilliance in that and what she calls the fog of not knowing. And, this is hugely relevant for me because when I first left the corporate world and became an entrepreneur, I never really thought that I could really embrace that uncertainty. I thought I would have to kind of have everything pre-planned out. I thought I was always in that world of, I need that certainty. I need that certain paycheck. And I have to kind of get over that fear of not knowing exactly what the outcome is going to be. And that's really what last year was all about for me. My first full year as an entrepreneur, as a copywriter, as a marketing specialist, was just a series of just taking imperfect actions and seeing what happened. And I can tell you that I fell on my face more times than I had a lot of success, but certainly had a lot of bad clients, had a lot of missteps that I went through. But I'm sitting here this year very thankful for the ability to kind of, that I stayed true to the course, that I kept taking that imperfect action because I learned so much from it. And it set me up this year to, really catapult my business, my life, everything else. The first 3 months of this year have been record months for me. And I'm getting to the point where I have a clear vision. I have a lot of confidence and certainty about where I'm going. I have the confidence to kind of step away from certain clients as well. So really working with select clients and making myself the biggest client and where I'm, going out there and creating my own offers. So in the second quarter, looking to create my own group program and getting that off the ground. In the third quarter, creating my own book. In the fourth quarter, creating my own course. Do I know exactly how each of those launches and each of those offers is going to go right now? Absolutely not. But I'm really excited about the possibilities because I know by the end of this year, I'm going to have, gotten to a place in my business, in my life, and in terms of the confidence and certainty of going through that. Again, they might not go perfectly, but I know even if they don't go perfectly, I'm going to learn a lot from that. Think back to I've had a few bad clients, but in those bad clients, I've learned so much just in those few weeks or a few days in working with those people. So it really is about kind of embracing not knowing exactly what my business is going to look like or life is going to look like by the end of the year. And that's perfectly fine. And that's a complete step change from where I was in the corporate world. Like every single year in the corporate world, I went for an annual review and my boss would ask me what is your 5-year plan? And I would always laugh because my 5-year, and I never really gave an answer to that. I would always change the conversation or do whatever, because at that time, my 5-year plan was just to get out of the corporate world. I didn't know exactly where I was going, but I knew I didn't want to be there. And that's kind of the first part is sometimes you just have to start with what you don't want to do. And that gives you a pathway to actually figuring out what do you want to do and, kind of embracing that. And it took me a long period of time to do that, to get over the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, in getting into being an entrepreneur for the first time. But I can tell you on the other side is a life and a business that I never thought was possible in terms of the freedom to spend as much time with my kids as I want, to work 20 hours a week or less, but still have really great impact and results that I'm looking for. And that's really how I'm putting into action. I kind of have an idea of what my life looks like. And again, it never even seemed possible a few years ago, but now I have this criteria of, okay, this is what I'm going to do when I work with certain clients. This is kind of my checklist. I'm not going to sit in a team meeting and work with a company anymore that has me come to several team meetings every single week, just because I hate team meetings. I don't think it's a good use of my time. So again, like, I'm going to avoid some of those clients that a team meeting is really necessary, because again, it's I don't want to sit in those anymore. But then I have a great long criteria of all those things that I need in clients that I'm looking for, in those coaching clients that I'm going out there and working with, making sure that they are willing to invest in their marketing and their business, that they have great video testimonials that show that they are having an impact on people's lives, and that those clients are willing to get on video and talk about the results. So those are just some of the criteria and kind of the rules of engagement that I've been able to establish. But I wouldn't be able to establish those if I didn't go through a series of mistakes and falling on my face and failures. Because in my mind, there's no failures anymore. There's just even more learning opportunities. And if anything, I want more of those learning opportunities to come through more and more. And as I go along, get a better idea of what my business looks like, what my life looks like, and really embracing that uncertainty and being okay with it, just because I know as I take that imperfect action, it's really going to be helpful versus before, where I was very much a perfectionist, wasn't taking the action that I wanted to. Kind of that perfect inaction is where I was stuck in. I'm happy to say that I slowly got out of that through the right coaching, mentorship, but also just kind of thinking about the daily habits to get me closer to the goals that I'm looking for. So if you're going through a period where you're either looking to start your own business, or you have a business right now and it's not going exactly as you planned, or you don't have a clear direction on what the staircase looks like going forward, just sit there and kind of embrace that uncertainty. It's one of those things that, as long as you're taking an action in a certain direction, as long as you're continuing to learn, again, being taught by Victoria Labalme in her Risk Forward book, I would advise you to pick that up as well. One of the things that she does is give you a long list of bonuses. If you go to riskforward.com/book, I don't have any official affiliate commissions on this, but in going through that, it's a really great book, and I think it's going to be really helpful for you if you're in a period where, again, you don't have a clear direction. It's not exactly that outcome that you're looking for. You're not exactly sure how you're going to get there. If you're just doing those actions every day, and she kind of lays out a process and kind of a mindset for embracing the period that you're in, and kind of showing you how other people have embraced that, and the stellar results that she's gotten for her own business, but also famous people along the way that just took that action, got better and better, and they finally found that path that they were looking for. So again, embrace that uncertainty, and on the other side will be that path that you're looking for. And it might not look exactly as you expected it from the front, but that's perfectly fine. I think it could end up being way better than expected.